Naked Gun
And
listed in the sports movie category makes me laugh. That is funny to me. I have no idea how it ended up. I'm looking at the stuff on Naked Gun and looking at it as a sports movie. I'm like, okay, no, that's silly. Like, okay, fair enough.
Fathom Events and TCM Big Screen Classics are taking you on the run with Marilyn Monroe,
Look how she moves. It's just like Jell-O on springs.
Tony Curtis, and Jack Lemmon in Billy Wilder's hilarious romp, Some Like It Hot.
You must be quite a girl. Want to bet?
With exclusive commentary from TCM host Tiffany Vasquez in select cinemas nationwide June 11th and 14th only. Tickets on sale now at fathomevents.com. Now available on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital HD.
Some Like It Hot is the best comedy script I ever read.
I knew right away that it was going to be an outstanding movie,
Billy was at the top of his game as a director and writer.
To work with Billy Wilder, his sensibilities are so powerful and so delicate.
Billy hired the world's foremost female impersonator and had him come over to work with Tony and me for a few days. He said, Curtis is perfect. He said, Lemmon is impossible. I would recast. Tony said, I got an idea. He said, follow me. Walked down the street, and he brings me into the ladies' room in the commissary. And we stood in the outside portion, and Tony started putting on some lipstick and this and that over the lipstick he already had on naturally and everything. Girls came out and said, hi, girls, how are you? Not one of them looked twice like, you're pretty funny-looking girls.
why do I always get the fuzzy end of the lollipop? That's
where we should start.
25.
That's where we should start. Why do I always get the funny? Folks, if you have not seen Something Like It Hot, let me tell you what. It's a blast, and this lady had not seen it, and I've been walking her through some of the biggest comedies of all time and trying to get these first watch reaction sort of reviews with her. Our schedules get crazy once the end of the year will kick in. So I like, well, let's get as many of these as we can. We've walked through the links will be in the description for like Blazing Saddles and Naked Gun. And if you're not watching Talk Hard every Tuesday, I don't know what's going on with you. Get with us. Come hang out with us. Have a good time with us. We talk about all sorts of crazy stuff. So, but Squeeka Mouse is in the house. How are you doing, lady?
I'm doing great. I watched this. I was thinking of watching it the first thing this morning, but then I was like, no, I was in the mood for some comedy last night, so I stayed up late and watched it. And I couldn't sleep for a while because it was so funny. I love this movie. I need to watch more older movies of this type too, because it was just everything from the delivery to the comedy to just the verbal comedy. I loved it. It's a great
laugh
movie.
hard. Laugh hard indeed, right? So the story for me goes back to Entertainment Magazine used to put these lists out, and I used to get Entertainment Weekly. That's what it was called. I'm sorry, I think I misspoke, but I used to get a couple magazines during college.
I remember that magazine.
No internet. Yeah, Entertainment Weekly. They'd have these,
yes.
top 100 movies of all time, or they'd have I don't know which one it was. And here I am, like, I don't know, 18 years old, and I'm like, oh, there's a whole bunch of movies I've not seen and or never heard of. So I got to watch this movie. And I had never watched it because it felt like it was just going to be like the promotional material didn't really do it service. Like I don't feel like the posters or the VHS box or whatever it was. So I think we'll start with just a general. The premise of the movie is these two guys. That's probably not the appropriate photo. Let's back up because we got. I jumped at the photo. The next photo was not the right photo. Hang on. This is the tricky thing. So I'm trying to avoid some copyright by using photos that are over on IMDb. And the problem is, for some reason, they're incredibly out of order, and it's just so frustrating. You go along in order, and then suddenly it's jumping to the end of the movie, or it'll be like them on the red carpet or something. You're like, whatever. So, all right, no. Premise of the movie. Here we go. All right, you have these two musicians, Joe and Jerry, Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, famous actors from that era. This came out in 1959, and they are there's an opening sequence which shows this big shootout with cops, which is brilliantly done, by the way.
Oh, that was amazing.
I have to be honest.
I love that.
Yeah, that was brilliantly done. I was every time I watch it, I'm always blown away at how great that sequence is. They this is the director, Billy Wilder. He uses that, speed up the car effect from back in the day because obviously they weren't filming at 60 miles an hour, but they kind of want to give you that effect. But other than that, it's so good. And basically, it's bootlegging, little shootout going on. They're trying to hide the liquor in a casket, and they sneak into this funeral home where they're secretly having this party, big shindig, and the police are there for a raid. And we get introduced to our two main characters, Joe and Jerry, that I showed you, who are they can't pay rent, they can't pay that. Everybody, they're just, I mean, they are a complete mess. They owe everybody money. They're borrowing money from the other girls in the acts. They're borrowing money from the deli. They talk about. Can you imagine having an IOU at the delicatessen? Like that's
I must
it doesn't
admit,
even.
I did have flashbacks of Uncut Gems for a brief moment because he's talking about going to the
Mm,
bookie, and that's the
mm,
one we just did, and so I was like, "Oh, please don't let this be in one of those where he's like,
mhm.
well, let's go pawn our coats. What about pawning the base?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"No, don't go there." It I love the fact that there's still these little witticisms and quips inside the very first scenes, but at the same time, it's not 100% like super slapstick comedy, like perhaps Blazing Saddles or Airplane or Naked Gun. It has a somewhat serious element, but at the same time, it has these little pockets and moments, like when they open the top of the car and there's all these guns, or like the leaking casket.
Hmm.
There's these small, like it kind of baby steps you into some of the comedy and the slapstick
Hmm.
humor of it, while setting the scene in such a way, like, there's the guy at the funeral with his coffee, "I just want more coffee."
Yeah, drunk guy. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Yeah, there are so many like little back and forth with how they play this. And again, yeah, you're right about Tony Curtis. Joe's character is sort of that. We did an uncut gem over a conversation over on Talk Hard. It was a very heavy movie. It's definitely it's about an addicted gambler. And yeah, Joe clearly has issues. He's like, Grease Lightning will hawk our coats, get our coats back. And it's like, oh no, we can just, I got it in on this one. We can hawk the, yeah, and Jack Lemmon always has a great comeback, and yet he's also just the patsy in the relationship. He's going along with Joe. It's like just another crazy scheme. So, yeah, great setup, great introduction to characters. Like you said, I think they kind of like they're slow building you with just these type of gags,
Mhm.
and basically because of this shootout with this mafia, this group, they get a job, they end up being witnesses, and now their lives are in danger because they're going to be hunted down by the mob. At the same time, a local talent agency is trying to find musicians for an all girls performance team down in Florida, and they end up basically, and this is the premise of the movie, is basically going in drag to get this job and go and hide from the mob and make some money. It solves it allegedly will solve all of their problems. So that's kind of the general gist. The first time you see them in heels and what what did you see it coming? Did you really see it coming? I don't know what you knew about this movie at all. How did you feel about all that?
Oh, I was fine with it, like, I saw it, once the premise inserted itself that this all-girl band was hiring, he was like, "What shape do you need, hunchbacks?" Like, I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I know where this is going."
Right.
Um, what was fun to see was how they played out the their personal feelings about how they were doing. Like they were talking about how they walked in the heels, or how they exaggerated
Hmm.
some of the movements. What did they say Marilyn looked like Jello on springs? Like, how did she do that? It's like
Hmm.
Jello on springs. Um so I love that they give us this. It's not all of the characters are introduced at first. I love that we don't see Marilyn until later, and we have a good kind of understanding of their personalities, so that when they do appear in drag, like even their clothes, I feel fit their personalities when they first show up. You know, um, Joe being the brunette, and oh, what was his name? Gerald, Jerry.
Well, Jerry becomes Daphne. He ditches
Daphne,
the
yeah,
Geraldine.
Geraldine,
Yeah, he becomes Daphne and has more of a
Daphne.
goofy outfit, goofy
Yeah,
hats,
and
and
he's the blonde, like
mhm.
and I loved how they played off their personalities and put that into what they were wearing. Um, so I love that. That was they were established first, and then we got to see them play the parts of Josephine and Daphne and how they melded those two together. And
Yeah,
and
it's extraordinary. So,
and
the
the
line
scene
about
with
the
the rail
heels talks.
cars. Yeah.
Yeah, the one with the heels because they don't know how to walk in them. It's like, well, it has to, they make comments, and so it becomes very much about two guys who start to appreciate women as well. It's sort of like a
Mhm.
subtlety that's kind of in there, which is part of the messaging of the film, where it's like, well, their bodies proportioned differently than ours, and um, he gets Jack Lemmon's Daphne gets tweaked on the hiney by the guy in the elevator. It's like, well, now you know how the other side feels, or something like that.
Oh,
So
yeah, he's like, "Well,
I
hey,
liked all that.
you're the red flag now," and the guy at Daphne's like, "I'm tired of being the red flag. I wanna be the bull again," like or the
Yeah,
scene where they're
yeah,
like, "Oh, I would never be with a man. They're all gropey and handies, and they only want one
yeah,
thing," and I was like, "Wow,
yeah,
call
yeah,
yourself out."
yeah. And then you get absurd. We do get a brief introduction to Marilyn Monroe, and she's drinking. They're going to throw her off the train. She's caught again, and you end up with this insane sequence in close quarters because Tony Curtis's character is just like, I can't believe this. This is, and again, they're all just these beautiful, beautiful ladies walking around. Obviously, they're amongst other women, so they're kind of like scantily dressed, and um, uh, he's just like, I can't control myself. This is crazy. I can't control myself. And did you see her? Did you see Sugar? Did you see Marilyn Monroe's character? Oh,
Mhm.
and she is just, I mean, just gorgeous in this movie. It's just gorgeous. So
But I
the
like
rowdy
too, like,
shenanigans
how
start
he
taking
just
place.
he becomes down like he does. He becomes the silly little kind of sister to all of them. Like they start the party and at first he's like, "Whoa, no, I don't know how to handle this" because he's still new to the whole girl. But then he just jumps right in, and I feel that goes a
Mhm.
lot with his character because he is kind of the Patsy to Joe's character, but I think he finds his little place like here with these girls. Like, not that he is a girl. I'm just saying like he embodies that. "Oh, I'll be your, like, sister." They have the party, and he's like, "We're having a good time up here." He starts laughing at their jokes, you know, and kinda gets used to it.
Yeah, because originally his strategy is I'm going to get her drunk a little bit. And, that's because
Mhm.
that's where his brain is in the beginning. And it doesn't take long before he's, you know, making jokes about, the surprise that he'll have for her, obviously, because, he's a dude. But yeah, they're on this little train. They're doing all this. And this is kind of where some of the photos, and this is, I told Squeaka right before we started that I'd have this surprise for her. I did not see these before. So I had not seen these. So the main reason this is in black and white is because of the makeup test that you can't hide what they look like. It's like you have to have a certain type of makeup on, and it looks pretty ridiculous in color. And I had never seen color photos. Now, this is not a great shot yet, but you can obviously see they have a ton of makeup on compared to the ladies, these beautiful, beautiful performers, right? We're
Mhm.
going to get a close up shot here in a minute. Um, you can see in even some of these shots that are done that lots of makeup on.
Wow.
Um, yeah, yeah. So we'll get to a close up shot here in a second. How, especially Tony Curtis's character, the Josephine, ton. It's like it's sort of like shocking because I'd heard this and I knew that was kind of part of the reason for the black and white, but I had never seen color photos. So this is the one that shocked me. You can see here he's smoking and stuff. So it's yeah. Look, you see the color between his skin and the neck, and what a difference it
Oh
is.
my
Look at how
gosh.
ridiculous he looks. Yeah, it's so
Wow.
distracting. Hmm.
Wow.
So yeah, shooting in black and white is sort of a saving grace for this movie in a lot of ways, for sure. So
Well, I read somewhere
uh,
too that it was hard a hard shoot because apparently, like, Marilyn Monroe wasn't in a good mood or something
oh,
during the
she was
filming
probably on
or
drugs and she's probably drinking and partying. She was just, yeah. And she can't do her lines. They would be on like the 30th take. So the way the movie's edited is because of her. Like and it's kind of weird because she's such a floozy that she would kind of like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in your next movie, right?" And he was like, and then later it's like she would just pretend like none of this ever happened. It was just this weird behind the scenes with all this. But there are scenes like the one, like it's like after take 30, the actors are in the sun in these makeup, wearing ladies' clothes. They're kind of done with this. Like, get on with your line, lady.
Mhm.
Just do the. But yeah, the reason this movie is in black and white, you can get the difference in the yeah. Yeah,
Oh, and that's
very, very noticeable.
I confess I had a similar situation happen, and the black and white did not help me at all. I was starting high school, and my stepmother at the time was a firm believer in makeup, but only beige makeup. I'm a very
Mm,
pale marshmallow individual.
wow.
So she
Yeah, it's like
forced us
jumped
to
right
wear
out.
makeup, and no amount of blending would make this very brown makeup blend in with my very pale body. And so I have yearbook photos of me from way back in the day, the 1900s, um, of me wearing brown makeup and having a white neck and a white chest in this photo, and it almost looks like blackface. It is so bad because it's in black and white. And I'm like,
Yeah,
it's
look at
the
how
opposite effect of
extreme.
this. I was like, "Oh, I
Yeah,
feel you, friend. I know how hard it is to blend."
yeah. Blending struggles are real. Blending struggles are real. Jack Lemmon would tell you. Um, the other thing too, and we could have talked about it when we showed. Well, if I find a photo of them together. Oh well, the next photo is good enough. Tony Curtis. So he admits that they're because he is obviously, I mean, in real life as well. He's a more manly man by the stereotype. He's a bigger guy. The broader chest. He had a hard time adjusting his voice to play the girly voice. So everything about this production is full of a lot of interesting sort of stories and comments and quotes and things like that. And I just kind of casually dove in a little more than I had previously. I did not even go to IMDb to look at all these photos and stuff like that. But yeah, they're there. And there's Marilyn.
Well, and I like when
But
they're
yeah,
on the beach, Marilyn's like, "Wow, you're so fit," and just quick as a wink is
big
like, "Oh,
shoulders, big arms. Oh my
it's from pulling
gosh.
around that bull, what is it? The
She calls it a bull fiddle. Bull
bull
fiddle.
fiddle."
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. And his faces, he really leaned in,
I
the Daphne.
love
He
Daphne.
really, I mean, evidently on set, he would just run around like a crazy he really leaned into that, whereas Tony Curtis is like begrudgingly getting through it. I don't know that I don't know that he ever speaks negatively about the experience other than like the scenes with Marilyn trying to get through all the line issues. But I think that it was definitely, in hindsight, I'm not sure we would have had Tony Curtis do this again. Whereas Jack Lemmon, he just continues to be crazy and zany. And I think he did another Billy Wilder film right after this. So yeah, he was definitely for doing more of this kind of shenanigans. Um, but as you say, especially these early scenes, the lines are fast coming at you. You need to watch this movie with some subtitles on if you got them. You're going to giggle and laugh at some of the stuff that's coming. And then once you get to the how much of a sleaze Joe kind of is, because I mean he's got his gambling issue. He's figured out his con into Sugar because he's used his alter ego, find out what are all of her likes and dislikes and things. So he's like, I'll just become that person so I can better. Um, I thought all that was I guess for me the movie insinuates a lot more loosey goose behavior than I think we think of as the 50s and the 60s. Does that make sense? Like it feels like, oh, look at the shenanigans that they were trying to get into.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to, I mean, yes, but it's also supposed to be like in the 20s, like set in the 20s.
Right. Yeah.
So I was just
Right.
I was like, "Oh," and the the shenanigans of like him convincing, like going onto this boat that's not even his, or just
Yeah.
randomly grabbing a bike or climbing in and out of a hotel window.
No matter what they do, there's a line for it. because there's a line about a bicycle, and you have no idea why they make a line about a bicycle, and then later he uses the bicycle to get to the boat, and the Daphne's character goes, and I guess he did have a bicycle, and you're like, I can't believe they pulled that off. It's so
Yeah.
so good. Oh, look at this picture of her. She's barely in this dress. Good night.
Oh yeah,
Dear
there was a
Lord.
lot of dresses where she like the black one is like barely covering her.
Yeah.
And like, and then at the end when she's like, "I'll never forget him. There's a Shell oil on every corner." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
girl, that's rough."
Look at how okay. So if you can't laugh, guys, I don't know what to tell you. Look at this in color.
That's
In color.
the face, though.
He's just so into it. He's into the role, but you can just see the legs and the knobby knees and giant man hands. He's obviously got man hands, and no one noticed Adam's apples. I guess no one. It's but in color, it jumps out at you so much more than the way the film sort of immerses you in their world with all of the black and white and the thrill of it all, and of course, just the fun of it, like the little musical number and them all playing and just having a good time and oh
I like the part where he's playing. He's so enraptured by sugar that he's playing the bull fiddle backwards, like for a hot minute.
oh yeah, he's not even paying attention at one point. If you watch the first part of that sequence to the very first time they play, he's like spinning it around. He's really goofing and really into it, like a jazz
Hmm.
band kind of thing. And then she's like, "Well, you need to spice it up a little bit." He's not doing a thing. He's barely moving. And like it's just little moments that are just buried away in this treasure of a film. Uh, oh, whoa. This is her in the black dress. My. Yeah. Yeah, there's another publicity of her, him, them.
That band.
So again, the 50s of a movie that takes place, like you said, like the great, Prohibition era, but how risque this was. Look at their faces. It's funny, those two photos go together, doesn't they? Like this is
Yeah.
that works. That's a good summary of this movie. Okay. So
Oh,
one of
the
the premises of the
tango.
movies, one of the great premises of the movie is that these girls are really thrilled about going to this Florida resort because there's a lot of rich dudes that are there, right? So, oh, I can get this rich guy and I'll get married, whatever. And then they give you a whole bunch of these old, pretty much unattractive men on like these chairs, newspaper. And it's the moment the bus pulls up and all these ladies are spilling out, they're all standing up waiting for their chance to scope somebody out. And we have this guy right here. He
Hmm.
is phenomenal. He is attracted to Daphne, played by Jack Lemmon, right from the get go. And it is
That yeah,
the
pitches them in
scene,
the elevator.
the elevator, the lines at the elevator are phenomenal. Mrs. Pops and I were discussing the lines that they're exchanging there, and it is just incredible. Um, I pull it back up, but my window, I closed the wrong window to get the quotes. I think that's the beauty of this film is if you have the subtitles on, you're going to catch how good comedy can be written. And I think that's something you've talked about many times that we talk about. Why can't we get good comedy? Why can't we have laughs? No one's writing like this. And it's criminal. Let's see. That's the end of the movie. Look up. His name is Osgood. Look up Osgood. That's why.
Oh
I kept
yeah,
looking up the wrong.
the
Yeah.
the exchange at the end of the movie is good too, but just the way they, like even the intro into the tango scene where they're talking about where they're gonna go, or I I just the way he keeps waving while they're playing. I loved Osgood.
Hmm.
I loved him.
It
I've been
was
married 4 or
lines
5
like,
times.
yeah. Well, you're quite a girl. Want to bet? Another line was deep sea fishing. Well, pull in your reel, Mr. Feeling. You're barking up
Oh,
the wrong fish. I loved it.
yes.
Pull in your reel. That's great. Uh,
I
yeah.
just
Oh, that's right. I invest in a lot of shows. Showgirls. I've been married 7 or 8 times. You're not sure?
that's
Mama's
great.
keeping score. It's great.
And I love the callback to Mama too. Like I love the fact that it's not just a one-off.
Mhm.
She comes back.
Which of these instruments do you play? Bull fiddle. Fascinating. Do you use a bow or do you just pluck it? Most of the time, I slap it. I'm
I
like, oh my
oh
gosh, he's
yes,
so good.
and it
The
doesn't deter him.
innuendo is incredible.
Osgood is so great.
Osgood is great. Osgood is just phenomenal, man. Oh man! And of course, this film is famous for the end of the movie line. That's the most famous element of this movie. Is
But I
that
love
that
the
quote?
whole
Like you can,
conversation. The whole,
yeah,
Mama said you can wear the dress. It's lace.
yeah,
It's not gonna fit me. Well, we'll
yeah.
have it altered. We can have adopt kid. Like the whole back and forth between them. I feel like the last line doesn't matter unless you have that whole conversation. So while I
Right.
understand,
It's building and building and building. I'm not a natural blonde. Doesn't matter. I smoke all the time. I don't care. Have a terrible past. Well, I forgive you. Children, we'll adopt some. It's that kind of thing. Then it's the I'm a man. Oh my gosh. So good. So yeah, there was attraction down here at Disney World when it was they've changed it. It used to be called Hollywood Studios, which was the Disney owned one, which was sort of like their little movie park. And now it's just become like a theme park. There's really not any, I don't think they do any movie production or anything like that there. Back in the day, they did. And they had a ride where it would take you through movies, and they had different uh, little reenactments. There's an alien moment and Wizard of Oz and things, animatronic type stuff that Disney's known for. Well, they also had this like this cute you wait in. They have a big screen where they're showing all highlights of these movies, and that quote is in that sequence. It was the nobody's perfect moment, which just gets you laughing. Just I'm a man. Well, nobody's perfect. Makes just everyone kind of chuckle a little bit. But when you watch it in this, that way that you said, like how you said, like it sets up and it builds and it builds and it builds, um, and then it just ends. It just ends with him looking at the camera like,
yeah,
bet
I
you,
love that part.
yeah,
I think that was perfect. That was a perfect ending for that movie. Because you don't. The thing was is sometimes when movies end like that, you want closure. You're like, well, what happens? Like, do they still like hook up? Do they figure things out? Like
right.
this one, it is absolutely great right there. That's it.
I'll look at this one. Oh man, it's so beautiful. So much fun. These are beautiful ladies. Classy.
I
Women's
just love
dancing.
the party. You got any maraschino cherries?
Look at the shot. Oh, it's so great. And I love they're all drinking booze out of Dixie cups. It's something that's such an outdated type of thing. Like it's so funny.
Well, yeah, they had like the little dispenser there at the end of the train where they went and got them. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, you don't see that anymore. Like water things with
No.
the Dixie
The,
cups
the
next
little
to
Dixie
it.
cup things. Yeah. Mm-mm. Yeah, that went the way of the wind. I don't even know the last time because I even seen water dispensers. They usually have bigger cups, like a little plastic clear cup, or they have the cones. So I've seen a couple cones that still
Hmm.
exist, but the Dixie cup era is gone, gone.
Well, even just that
Um,
small little nuance of the difference between the guys and the girls. He whips out the booze and he's ready to go, and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna need some cups." Like, "Oh, that's right. They're ladies now. They drink
they're
out of
ladies, yeah.
cups." And
And then
you can't
crackers
just
and cheese. I have to get crackers and cheese. To be like,
can't
and
just
like he's
swig
like,
out of the
what? We
bottle.
don't. Yeah, we're not. I'm here for the booze. I'm not here. No, they're ladies. Yeah. 100
Who
percent.
brought the peanut? They might bring a peanut and the peanut butter. It was so much fun,
Oh
and they're
my
telling
gosh, so
jokes.
many. It just keeps going and going and going. He's getting squeezed out of his own little. It's his little bed. There's so many girls keep climbing in. He just keeps getting edged out. Yeah,
No crackers in the
yeah.
bed.
And then the
And I love
mafia
the
guys. By the way, go ahead.
spats. I was about to say we haven't talked about spats. I
Oh,
love spats. I love his name
yeah,
and
we
just
haven't
the
gotten
way
to the
he's
mob.
presented.
And look at them looking at the ladies. Like this is the first time they meet drag, and this guy's eyeing, and this guy's eyeing, and yeah.
I don't know, that
Spats is
one
in
guy
the
in the back
middle.
looks kind of excited. He's like, "Oh."
Oh,
He's like
he's eyes like scoping them out. Like that's what I'm
yeah, I
saying. They're
know.
excited. Oh, there's the bed shot. Um, so yeah, Spats is sort of like that stereotypical Prohibition era gangster, sort of a Al Capone, Lucky Luciano type, where they're so wealthy, they're all bought up, they have these fancy suits and shoes and everything. They're also extraordinarily dangerous and have tons of people around them that just do crazy criminal things all the time. I love the fact that they set up the thing on the shoes, the way the shoes are, and then it's like the spats, so that you can kind of have him sort of like alienated from everybody else, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, and I love the comedic piece of it where, like, he's coming because they just show his shoes. Like, that's it. That's all the
Yep.
introduction you get. You see these shoes walk in, and you instantly know who that is. Or, like, even the
Yep.
the comedy bit where
When they
they're
sit
under the
down. Mhm.
table and
Right. Mhm.
his feet are there. Like, love that setup. And I feel
Yeah, they
sad for
clue
people
you
that don't know
in.
what spats are. I'm like, "Oh,
Hey,
spats."
you'll know now. You'll know now. After watching a movie like this, you'll never forget spats. And then just the silliness of everything. This is him dancing, and as he went to the dancing with the older
I
guy, Oswald, and they're going to get married. I'm like, and they're just not listening to it, and the jokes just keep coming. The
Have you
jokes
thought about the
keep coming.
honeymoon? Well, he wants Riviera, and when he say, "I want Niagara
Yeah,
Falls," like
yeah.
or at the end where they're trying to flee and he packs the maracas. I was like, "Yes, yes."
Hmm. Yeah, that was so good. Yeah, Joe and Jerry going back and forth, and he's like, "Oh no, I know, we'll figure it out." His mom, you know what? So it's kind of like the end of the movie scene with Joe here as well. Like again, it's sort of like a callback in a way because it's the exact same kind of conversation. Like you guys can't be together. You do realize that, right? And he's like in his own little cloud. But at the end, when he's having that conversation, it's like the audience is there. We're just laughing. We're just along for the ride at this point. Great stuff.
I almost seen with the spats and the cake. Something in the cake didn't agree with him. It's just the silliest, like such a dad joke kind of thing, but it's the way it's
Hmm.
delivered and the timing of it, it just fits right in. So it doesn't even seem like dad jokes, and you catch yourself laughing, whether you like it or not.
Absolutely. All the time. Yeah. This is the way they do that dance sequence. That
I loved I loved it, especially at the end
they
where
switch,
they're the only ones
and
left.
they're the only ones left on the floor dancing still. They're still going strong. And why? Because Joe is making his moves with this. The kiss has your love has no effect on me, dear. None whatsoever. You can go ahead and try if you want. No, I feel nothing. Do you want to try again? And it just keeps going and going before he's gradually going, I think I might have felt something that time. Really? I think you should keep going, my dear. So,
Well,
I-
this is why you get the fuzzy into the lollipop, Marilyn.
always get the fuzzy end
But
lollipop.
I even
So
like
he
the tango scene,
plays.
the callback to they when they first started, they're like, "Well, we'll blindfold the band and dance until dawn or whatever," and then they pan out when they're
Mm,
doing the tango. They show the band blindfolded.
yeah, there's a quick shot. They're there. Everything is called back. Everything is tied in, and it's sort of like it's not spooky and slapsticky or anything like Naked Gun or Airplane is, but it leans in to gags to just amuse you. And some are laugh out loud, some are more like that, where may not. But I think that's where movies like this become classics because when you rewatch it and you watch it for the fifth time, you're still picking up on a little moment here, a little moment there, or maybe this one just kind of tickles you a little differently than it did before. Oh, just incredible. So.
I didn't really care too much
And
about
look at.
the yacht scene where he's schmoozing her and things like that, but
Mhm,
she did have a couple of funny one-liners too, where she like takes the fish out of his mouth and is like, "Try this," or you know, or
mhm.
pheasant. I think it was pheasant.
Yeah, it's yeah, Pheasant. The other thing too is just it's a beautiful film. Um, these are real life sets and a real location. It's a beautiful place. The lighting's just incredible. Look at this. So this is, I think, a museum now. I think they turned this area into like this is kind of like a museum area. Let me look that up again. I think.
Was this a real hotel? Like this, what
Hmm.
was the Ritz? I don't remember what they called it.
It's in Colorado. Well, it's the real hotel is called the Hotel del Coronado in California. So let's see,
Oh yeah, the
location.
Del
So like a
Coronado.
hot.
That's on an island, I think, off the southeast coast of California. I feel like I've been not to that island, but I know where it's at.
Yeah, designated historical landmark and all of that. And I think there's like a little, like almost like a museum where, because they acknowledge that it's where this is where Some Like It Hot was filmed. So just a bit, but beautiful, beautiful scenes, beautiful shot. Here's that shot of the old guys waiting. Here's Osgood right in the front. And I love that everyone in this movie. So this is an interesting, fun Hollywood trope. It happens in other movies too. So if anyone's never seen this before, is for some reason they like everyone to be reading the back page of the Wall Street Journal instead of reading the Wall Street Journals. Like most people are not, you know, you always will see the front, so it says Wall Street Journal, so you know that's what they're reading. But they're always reading
Hmm.
like the back page. No one's like got it open. No one, it's pretty, So it's kind of funny. They're always reading the back page of the Wall Street Journal instead of like, they're not on page 7 or 9 or anything.
They're all
They,
fast
they,
readers,
they,
and
I
if you
guess so.
watch when they fold it, they always fold it with the name up.
Yep, yep. They keep the same direction. Yep.
And so you know they're all about the Wall Street.
They're
Oh, I
all about the
loved
money.
her.
They're all the
What was
rich
her
people.
name? Nellie. Oh, I loved Nellie.
Hmm. Yeah, we'll get to Nellie. Nellie was great. And this was also like, again, funny stuff. Like, so again, 50s. How racy is this? We're talking about Prohibition era. Talking about how Joe and he kind of stood her or whatever. And I even had a new negligee. And they just keep going with the lines.
Hmm.
I'm like, man, she is spicy. Oh, I love her.
And then when she's like, "Oh
Spicy
yeah,
lady.
we got a gig for you," like knowing full well they're gonna get turned down
Barbara
in what it is.
Drew. I'm looking to see Barbara Drew. Obviously, she's known for Some Like It Hot. A couple other movies. I haven't watched Rebels. I don't know what that one is. Hmm. Interesting. Wasn't in a lot of stuff. Wasn't in a lot of stuff. She just did a few things here and there. So good on her. Hmm.
Well, and that's what I want to
She's a
do. Like I
Panama Canal baby. Hmm.
Oh wow. I want to
Yeah.
take these
Go
actors
ahead.
and find some of the things that they're in and watch more films from this era. It's kind of like getting like Blazing Saddles and seeing um Gene Wilder in it, and you're like, he's pretty funny. I want to find more Gene Wilder films. That's what I want to do with this one, because their deliveries are so excellent. Like I said, even Barbara Drew's like, she's so spicy. I'm like, what else has she done? Like, oh, who, I don't know who plays Osgood, but like Osgood's character, like I want to know, I want to see
Hmm.
him in more films, because it's just
Yeah.
so well done. And I don't know if anything's gonna come of it, or if they're gonna be as good, if this is just the director and the writing, it all came together for it. But at the same time, it is so well done. Like I'm not super interested in more Marilyn Monroe films, but just some of the other characters, like
Hmm.
um who played Daphne, Jack, I think
Jack
Jack
Lemmon. Yep.
Lemmon. Um, just I want to see more of their films because they did so well.
Yeah, Jack Lemmon's a comedic actor, so that's kind of his shtick. He has a long, long resume. The year after this, he actually returns with that director, and this is a movie that I have not seen in 30, 40 years. It's been a long time. It's a movie called The Apartment. So that's
Oh,
actually the next movie from this director and from him. It was actually an award, best picture kind of film. Again, I watched it back in the day on that list from that entertainment magazine that we're talking about, and I've never watched it again. I don't own, so I will be trying to fit that in. And I know your schedule's easy, but yeah, I'll be watching The Apartment down that same thought press you have. But he goes on to great comedies. If you want to jot a couple down, I would recommend when he does The Odd Couple, the movie. So he's in a movie in several movies with this co-star Walter Matthau. So they have this sort of like zany and straight guy back and forth. They do The Odd Couple in the late 60s, and then they return together for Grumpy Old Men in the 90s. They do a couple, and they were together for many films. But Jack Lemmon has got a lot of fun. Um, uh, comedic roles for sure. I didn't know Barbara Lee. I didn't know anything about her. That's why I was looking, but I didn't recognize the films that she was in. The other actors, let me see here. The guy that we're talking about, Osgood, his name is Joe Brown, Joe E. Brown. He is more famous for a couple of sports movies, I think. Let me see here.
Oh,
He did
really?
radio work too. He has kind of like a zany voice. So he
I
was,
can see
yeah. So he was known from doing a lot of that kind of stuff back in the day. You know, the other thing too, it's really fascinating too. And we don't really talk about this on Talk Hard, but I just wanted to both Tony Curtis, both Jack Lemmon, a lot of these people, they were war veterans. And up because sometimes in Hollywood, especially when it comes to writing, directing, performance, is these are people who haven't really lived a life, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I feel like they don't have anything to draw from. So they don't have tragedy and happiness. And so they don't have these moments in life to draw from. And so we end up with these very hollow and forgettable things because the performers and the writers and the directors don't have like enough life experience, if you will.
that.
Okay, so the Osgood guy, Joe Brown, he is sort of tied to a lot of the very early Disney cartoons, like the Squeaky Mouse stuff back in the
Mm.
day. A lot of voice work into Hanna-Barbera. He's Lippy the Lion and Peter Potamus, which I barely remember. Peter Potamus, Lippy the Lion, and he's got these zany, just tons and tons of roles that predate this movie. He
Well,
is
I
in
think
another great comedy. If you want to write down
he
another
did
one,
great as
it's called
Osgood.
it's a mad, 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 mad world. Wow, that's a fun movie. I would love to watch that with you. That'd be fun. I know we're up against the clock with your schedule, but yeah, that. So if I had to recommend two, I'm gonna watch The Apartment. I'm gonna put that on my list when
Yeah,
we're
I have
done.
that one on the top, and then I'll
It's a
watch Mad World after that.
it's a mad world. I'm gonna watch with the missus. I'm gonna put it because she'll bite on that right away. That's one of her favorites. There's a remake. There's a remake called Rat Race where they recast everybody with like newer actors, and they have the guy that plays Mr. Bean in it. So like she
I've
likes the
seen
Rat
Rat
Race one, even
Race.
though it's a significantly less movie. Mad World is phenomenal, but
Oh,
Joe Brown's in that one, so yeah, she'll
made
watch
me
that one
nervous.
with me right away.
Well, if the missus like it,
Um,
likes it, I know it's got to be good. Like,
yeah, she's a tough critic. She's way
whenever you say
tougher
the
than you
missus
think.
will
Where
watch
people,
it with you, I'm like, oh, I'm ready for this now.
yeah, she's so. And if people haven't heard the story, it's no surprise any of you out there. Just this, we have this one digital bucket, so now it's called Fandango Home, whatever the voodoo amount was. So there's if you add in these bundles because they don't count that in the total, but if you add in the bundles stuff like that, I probably have the neighborhood of like 1,200, 1,300 movies in there, right? I created a playlist that says um, she might watch. That's basically it says might watch. It's like 170 movies. She barely got over 10% of the things I own that she's like, I'll watch that maybe. It, she's a tough cookie. She most things are one and done for her. She'll watch it and she'll be all right. That was good. I'll watch it again. I'll pass. She has one or two actors that she likes, some that she thinks are hot. Those tend to make the repeat list more often than. She's got certain comedies and musicals that she likes, and that's where a lot of that list comes
Musicals.
from.
Oh, I love me a few musicals.
She is always giving me grief over musicals. Yeah. So, um,
I do appreciate a good musical.
yeah, just a great film. I love the setup. I love the progression. The story makes so much sense. And I love the fact that it sort of has kind of an openness at the end, like you said, where I didn't need anything buttoned up. I don't feel like Joe's learned a lesson. I feel like he's still kind of out there, and now he's got Marilyn Monroe on his arm to go and what be a gambler, be scammers together. I don't know what the plan will be. And then you have Oswald and Osgood and Daphne going home to
I mean,
Mama. Don't even,
Mama
I don't
approved.
even know what's happening.
Maybe this is a magic number 9. Who knows?
Number 9. I know exactly what I was going to say. Um.
I love that. Like I
So
said, the
yeah,
jokes don't feel they don't feel manufactured, even though they come up like I said with the cake joke, like, oh, something didn't agree with him. Like, it makes you
Yeah.
kind of inwardly groan a little bit, but no, they roll right into one another in such a way that you just can't help laugh. And even then, like, you there's some of those conversations, like the back and forth with Joe and Daphne about, well, you're a boy and you can't get married or you can't get engaged, where it's funny throughout, but you kind of hold your breath for the whole performance, and then by the time
Mhm.
it's over, you're like, yay,
It's
like,
great.
you
It's so
laugh.
awesome. And then the zany, like the chase scene in the hotel lobby.
Yes.
I-
And they
So
come out of
this
the elevator
stuff,
dressed
I
again, and you're like,
think,
wait.
and I know we groan, like the cake joke, we might groan, but I think like that and the chase scenes, I think this stuff was kind of like breaking ground. 'Cause I think those type of gags were reserved for like cartoons and stuff. I don't think those were as commonplace in like a Hollywood feature like this movie is. So I think this is another reason why this movie deserves a lot more credit. And well, I think it's why it's revered by a lot of critics, but I think more than that, I think it deserves a lot more credit because I don't have a total context. You know what I mean? So like I'll tell you all the time, like, yeah, when I watched this in the theater though, this was the first time you ever saw this, or the first time you ever experienced this, right? You have that kind of context. So like the year after this, in 1960 is when Psycho comes out. It's like this horror movie, which doesn't feel as much like a horror movie, feels more like a thriller movie now. But it was the first time you see like an actual toilet on screen. From you see the woman in her
Wow.
brassiere on screen. So it was this in context. It should get even more bonus points than it does for being a great film because it was doing certain. I think Some Like It Hot deserves bonus points as well because it's pulling off gags that have been so overdone. We do kind of groan or we kind of, oh, I see where this is going. But did you in 1959? Did audiences? Because I tell you what, this movie feels, and this is the sad state of affairs, right? They could make that movie in the late 1950s, where culture would not have been accepting of homosexual marriage or cross dressing and all these different things that they're playing with. And now wouldn't want to make the movie, even though that stuff is pretty widespread in culture. Most of us don't even blink an eye, or we have people in our own families or friends that are like, okay, so it's just culture. It's just such an interesting film to put in that lens as well. So, if you haven't figured it out, I consider this a masterpiece. I consider this like an actual 10. This is an actual masterpiece. It will not get old if you watch it and you don't like it. To each their own. Yeah, and if you figure that it's sort of meh, fine. To each their own. But if you love cinema, you love scripts, and you love laughs, and you get perspective, I think you can understand why it's a comedic masterpiece. It's beautifully done, beautifully done. So I'm
I
thinking you get giggled at least once or twice.
Well, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, this is to me, this is even before Blazing Saddles time. It did a lot of pushing the
Yeah.
envelope for its time. It did a lot of satire, and I feel we've lost that. We've lost that humor that, like I've said
Mhm.
before, the ability to laugh at ourselves. It's one thing to laugh maliciously. It's another to say this is something that's a little silly, um, and we used to think it was such a big deal, but look, it's not a big deal. It's really not. Look at how it can be funny. It can, you know, these two guys go and join a girls band and dress up like women to escape the, being witnesses to a crime. Like, it's
Yep.
not meant to be derogatory or mean or even like criticize drag, or it's just got a lot of silly jokes and a lot of silly playing off of, like, there's the guy that they take over, the guy in the wheelchair, even like when they're doing the
Oh
chase
yeah,
scene,
yeah.
and then they
He just dumped.
hide
Yeah.
out in the wheelchair, and like those kinds of gags I feel like have been lost simply because it's, oh, we're worried about offending somebody, or we're worried about being upset. And it's not, too many people look at the malicious side of humor when that's not what's being presented. It really
Hmm.
is, this
Oh,
is
so
something
true.
silly, this is something slapstick. Like, it's almost like the Three Stooges type of humor where it's like, haha, we're just gonna
Hmm.
laugh to laugh and just laugh, guys. And there's, you know what I mean? Like, I just, And it goes back, I think, too, to what you're saying. Like, they didn't have life experiences, and they didn't have so much stuff that happened. I think the more you have happened to you in life, the more you're able to see humor and fantasy, and it, like, it's not just the comedies. Like, I think people get more out of, like, movies such as the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, or books and things like that, when they have things happen in life that you use a book or you use a comedy to escape from. It means more to you. So when
Hmm.
you're making something out of it, you're going to put more of that meaning into what you're making. Whereas if you don't have that, not that everybody should have a rough life. I don't take it that way. Like, but when you have things happen, or when you have something that makes you need these books for a little more escape than just I'm reading a book because everybody else is, or I need something to laugh at, and I need to have some good slapstick humor because I need to laugh harder. That is where we've lost a lot, is those life experiences that make things matter. And so now the media we get doesn't matter.
Yeah, it kind of keeps piling on us. It kind of makes us continue to feel more dread or gloom, or we're supposed to be thinking about things or learn a lesson. Whereas this is just a silly
It's
little
just funny.
adventure with all sorts of shenanigans. I mean, they're hiding under tables, they hide under a gurney, they've got wheelchair gags. It never stops going and just being total fun. So if you've never seen, I can't recommend it enough. And for anyone who's watching this, I don't like black and white movies, but I'm just telling you,
It's
I'm
worth
sorry if you
it.
don't like. It's one of the few that it's kind of in an elite class of watching. I'm sorry, it just is. It's special, and it needs to be watched, even though it's in black. I know there are color movies during Sarah. I've this video we've tried. I tried to include why it's not in color for good reason. Um, I also uh, wanted to capture Squeaka's first experience, and I'm glad that we did because I know she had a good time, and that, yeah, she needs that too. We need to laugh hard. You need to laugh hard all the time.
Well,
Yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
love that it's black and white because I feel like the director did a great job just behind the scenes of playing with, like, the moonlight and the lighting
Hmm.
on the pieces and things like that. Like, I think the lighting works better since it's black and white, but that's just me.
It's a beautiful film. I think
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
beautiful film, and I do agree that the outside sequences. Well, let's just presume the makeup could be done right. The outside sequences wouldn't feel quite right because you're in color. It feels more even because
Mhm.
you don't have these major color changes between Osgood scene on the yacht where they have the lights that are dimmed. It's like, well, it's not really a big jarring difference whenever you're watching it in black and white. In color, that would be a very jarring difference of this big ballroom dance sequence versus this romantic scene. Whereas you're kind of sucked into both as kind of an even playing field, and you're kind of like the gag of how opposite and ridiculous this is because he's getting deeper and deeper with Osgood, and he's trying to get deeper and deeper with. I mean, I was ah,
I'm I
beautifully
loved
done.
Osgood. I loved him.
Osgood's great. Osgood's great.
But it
And
is
as we
it is
know,
a the best film. It is an amazing reintroduction. I've watched a couple black and whites, but now I want to go back, and it is, if you have to, if you're, even if, like you said, you don't like black and whites, if you have to watch at least one, just watch this one because it is amazing. And it is a wild ride. It really
there
is.
are um, there are several that need to be watched just because they're so foundational to cinema or film. This one and Psycho are probably the two that I'm glad they're not in color. I don't think in basically audiences wouldn't have been ready for Psycho in color, and he had to shoot in black and white. Hence the reason he doesn't actually use fake blood in that movie. It's actually chocolate syrup because they couldn't blood wouldn't look right. I mean, just so those of you who didn't know that trivia in Psycho, that's actually chocolate syrup in the shower scene.
Oh my
That's
gosh, it's
yeah,
been ages. See, now I want to go back and watch it just for the chocolate syrup because today is
yeah, the
hot fudge
chocolate syrup. And
sundae.
there you go. Casablanca, I think, is another movie that needs to be seen. It is sort of like this romance, like suspense movie, way ahead of its time. Like it just feels a film that captures something different about cinema that is just like it doesn't feel like that anymore. And I don't know how to even put Casablanca into words sometimes. It's just so many great elements to Casablanca. I do think that maybe you could do Casablanca in color, but you would have problems with like the scope of it. It feels like a very small personal film with these characters. And I think if you do it in color, you might have to have more grandiose transition scenes and things like that, because what you would need. But I think that's it's a beautiful black and white film. It's a great film as well. Those are some of my favorite of the black and white. Trust me, I know people out there going to go bonkers with a dozen other movies. I totally get it, but yeah,
I
can't
confess,
wait to.
Casablanca has not been seen. I have to watch that one still.
Didn't work for you?
No, I haven't seen it. I
Okay, yeah.
confess,
No,
I haven't
a
watched
lot
it.
of people haven't. It's fine, and I totally get it. I didn't watch it for many. It was not one that I could get into. That and Gone in the Wind are really tricky for me because really can't. They're not. They're just not my kind of film. But Casablanca's grown on me, and I definitely appreciate it from a film. I could you've known me long enough to know how much I can appreciate like the critic
Mhm.
part versus the personal rewatchability love. Like we just did a talk hard on Uncut Gems. I'll be honest, it's a great film technically. I'll never watch that movie again in my life. If I could go on, I'm just not doing it. I'm not. I don't. I get it. I get. It. I can get the reason. But this is not. This is a regular rotation. This is a regular film. Me love this film. I continue it. It's a goat. It's the greatest of all time kind of film for me, and I'm glad that Squeaka and I were able to chat about it. So, and folks, we'd love to have some suggestions from you. Love to hear from you guys as well. What your thoughts are on this film. Squeak, it's always fun to hang out with you, baby.
It's
Always hang
always
out.
great to be here. I've enjoyed my laugh hard
Uh,
summer. I really have. It's
it
made the
has
year
been
a
a
little
laugh hard
better.
summer. Yeah, and we've definitely got some fun stuff planned ahead together. We'll do the best we can to get schedules to continue to align. And if nothing else, you guys can join on Tuesdays for Talk Hard. We hang out with a wonderful panel with Ironcaster and Loki, and just some of the most amazing chat you can imagine. And if you miss it, watch it after the fact, like most people do. Most people watch it after the fact. People are like, "Oh, I don't have any people in my live show." It's like, what? I don't know what you're doing. I have very small-ish number relative to the overall viewers. Some of our shows. Were you there for Deep Blue Sea, that shark movie that we clip from all the time? You were, right? Where the
No.
guy gets eaten by the shark. Oh, I thought
Nope.
you were there for that one. It had like 800 views next day. I don't know why, but it did. Like stuff like that. It's like don't get caught up in numbers, folks. Have fun, hang out, talk hard, laugh hard. That's what this is supposed to be about. So, uh, yeah, Squeaka, thank you so much. You're such a blessing
Thank
to me. I
you.
love our
Thanks for
friendship and our time together.
everybody that's hanging out with us that comes back and watches this because it is a great movie. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's great. All
I
right,
love
folks. Listen, you guys take care. Make sure you check back with us and for more, and then we'll talk to you next time. I am Pops.
Here's a classic movie quiz. 1959's Some Like It Hot stars Tony Curtis, Marilyn Monroe, and Jack Lemmon.
We call ourselves Josephine and Geraldine. Ha!
Why was the film shot in black and white?
I feel like everybody's staring at me.
With those legs, are you crazy? Now, come on.
Film tests showed Curtis and Lemmon's makeup made them look green.
Us girls should stick together.
Some Like It Hot.
Gotta have my pops.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you again. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Pops, pops, thanks for